I've always said this. It's kind of like sometimes there's something for just for you to see.
Mhm.
So I look out my window and falling from the sky, I see this green. It looks like this is what I'm going to say. Okay,
Oh.
so I see this, and I don't want to say meteor because a meteor would be falling not at a. This was kind of like a free fall speed. It didn't seem
Yeah,
like it
it'd
was
be
falling
more at
really
an
fast.
angle probably like this.
Yeah, and this was falling, and this is not my picture though. Okay, this is me scouring the internet to find something that resembled what I saw. This is the
Okay.
closest thing I could see that I could find. It was a green flare, possibly, but we're like. I don't know what commercial aircraft fly at. We're like 30,000 feet up in the air, 36,000
Gonna
feet up in
say,
the air. A Bodega is a guide and a storyteller, escorting you through the night, lighting the way, warding off thieves, ghosts, demons, and other oddities. Along the journey, his companions would often share with him the most curious of stories that he'd record in his codex. Perhaps you just might find yourself traveling with a Bodega and sharing one of yours. Click that like. If you're new here, subscribe and have the bell hit for notifications to stay up to date on all of the new content. Good evening, everyone. It's Rye here with Codega's Codex of Curiosities, your guide. And tonight is a special episode. It is a short one and it is just on YouTube only. So if you were one of those listeners that I've been saying, get over to the YouTube to watch, this is some of the extra content that you are receiving. Tonight, I'm going to be going through some of my own experiences and some pictures that I have taken in relation to some of these experiences. And I'm actually going to have one of my best friends on, Matt Emch from Planet 412. He's going to come on and we're going to talk about some of these experiences that I've had, and I'm going to show him these pictures. So, picture says 1,000 words, and some of these pictures do say that. Also, just a quick thing, I have my Patreon. I have a $5 membership, and that's $5 a month. And what it does is it helps me out to get new equipment, and I will be giving you a shout out every month for that. And I really appreciate it. I'm doing these, I'm doing these episodes, on my own time, and it just helps me out. Then there's the $25 tier where it gets you free products and free shirts, a mug and a bag. So that's in my Patreon. Of course, it'll be in the links down below. And finally, I also have a Printify store. I've made some products, some merch, and I'm going to put on the advertisement right now. Check it out. And as soon as that's done, we're going to bring on Matt and we're going to go forward from here. All right, let's bring on Matt and we'll get the show started. Hey there, Matt. How you doing?
Hey, Rye, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for jumping in. I did have a guest on, and a guest booked, but it happens where they just don't show, and Matt's like, "You need some help? I'm there." And here he is. So I
Oh,
just want to say thanks, Matt. And of course, I'm sure all of my viewers and listeners know who you are, but why don't you just run through it another time here.
Sure. First, before I start, the store looks awesome.
Thank
I
you.
sent you a comment in the
I
private chat.
just looking at
Yeah,
that. I'm just looking at that. I need a store.
great job. I started to do it and on all three, and I canceled all three because it was just too much. I need help. So yeah, we can talk about that. I know
Definitely.
you're willing. My name's Matt Emch. I live in Youngstown, Ohio, actually a suburb right just outside, but that will remain anonymous. And I am a sports broadcaster. I started that 18 years ago. I've been calling color coordinator, color commentating high school, college, semi-pro football for 15. I have a play-by-play guy, different one once in a while. And then I had some major health issues through my life, but specifically in April of 2022, I had some really bad ones, had a near death experience, and that opened me in my mind to telling a experience that happened to me and three of my friends when I was 14 years old with the dog man. That then brought me to people telling me I needed to start a channel, which is Planet 412 on YouTube. And it's something I've worked really hard on and I'm very proud of. So, anybody that is into the types of things that Rye is doing here, the paranormal, supernatural, uh, cryptids, UFOs, USOs, UAPs, everything and anything, and in between, please head on over to Planet 412, subscribe, hit that like button and notification bell. And we have, just like Rye, we have a Patreon, which is new. I have memberships. I'm trying to push people towards the Patreon as well. And we're just doing a lot of different formats. I have like 6 different formats, and I'm looking to add a couple more. So join us over at Planet 412. We'd love to have you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. And yeah, it's if you can't get your fill here, jump on over to 412. Matt puts out a lot of material. I know he puts out more than I do, and he's busy at it, and he does a fantastic job of it too.
So
Um,
do you.
oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's you know, a lot of people don't realize the amount of work that goes in here. Just sitting here and talking is the fun part. This is the easy part. It's when we have to take this and then, well, this one's going to be easy because it's going straight to YouTube and I'm not really doing much to it. But
Mhm.
for most part, we have to do a bunch of edits, especially the audio. If we're doing audio, there's a lot of extra work that goes into this. So, and not just that, it's finding our guests as well. And not that it's an issue, and I really enjoy interacting with my listeners and viewers, but that's a lot of time too, because let's say I send a message to you. Okay, I'm sending a message to your channel and you respond back to me. Well, it's only taken me 20 seconds to write that message, and your response is 20 seconds, but you're responding not just to me, you have like 30, 40, 50 other people that you have to respond to. And it's not like I'm complaining about that. It just takes a lot of time. Yeah, but I enjoy it. I enjoy interacting with every one of my listeners and viewers. I really, we're building up a cult following. I don't like using that word, but it's kind of you're building up a following, and it's really great to bring these people along on this adventure. Bring our followers and listeners along, and just to try to uncover some truths within these mysteries.
It is. It's a blast, and I second everything Rye just said, and we truly, this group of us, Rye was alluding to, not just his channel, my channel, and our other friends' channels, but to Tuesdays we have our supernatural town hall session, which is Codega's Codex of Curiosities, Planet 412, and Sasquatchers Paranormal Podcast with Andrew Christie and JC. I always forget how to say his last name. No, I have it.
I'm terrible. Actually, I just JC is all I go by, and I'm like, I
No,
don't
I
know
wanna
his
say
last
his
name.
last name because I have it. So hold on one second. I'm gonna
Yes, let's get this right here.
Cornwell. So
Cornwell,
John
yes.
John Cornwell is JC. He likes
And I
to go as JC Sasquatcher.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
And
John.
he's our you know, our I don't know, our resident comedian almost. I feel that he is kind of like the funny man of the group.
He is, and
Though we're all a little funny too, but
I think we have great personalities here. I
Mhm.
think we mix beautifully, which we wouldn't be doing this if we weren't.
Yeah.
They're also starting something on Sasquatchers Friday at noon. They're gonna have, it is Far Out Folklore
Yeah.
on their Sasquatchers Paranormal podcast, and, go ahead and check them out, man. They're doing a
Well,
good job
and they're doing that. They've announced it, so we can say it. You know, they're doing it like a game show, and that's going to be
Mhm.
really interesting. So,
Right.
you know, they like to push the boundaries and try different things. You know, like they like to go places that other people haven't, and
Mhm,
I commend them for it. So today, Matt, what I was going to do, and I was going to do this on my own, but I'm so glad that you joined me. It's
mhm.
nice to have
Me
like
too.
another person commenting on it. So I have some experiences in my life, and I have had some photos that I've taken of things that I can't explain, and what they are, I don't know. But we're going to go through them. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to present the photos so everybody can see them. The first one here is going to be from an experience when I was flying into Mexico. Okay. And this experience was I was moving to Mexico and I was bringing a lot of things in. And while I was bringing these things in, you know, to go through customs, it was going to be a real hassle. It wasn't like I was bringing anything illegal. It was just that I was bringing in a ton of things and they would have to go through everything. And by doing that, you know, I'd probably be sitting there for like an hour. Okay. At minimum an hour in customs. So as we're flying in and I was about an hour out and it's late at night. And I will say there was a lot of storm thunderheads, you know, and the plane was kind of not swerving, but like avoiding these thunderheads because they're clear as day. You can see these huge mushroom shaped kind of thunderheads. And I kind of was like praying. I'm like, please give me a sign that I am not going to go. Oh, I need to actually explain this. That when you go to Mexico, you press a button and you either get a green light or you get a red light. Green light means, see ya, go on through. We're not going to check you. Red light means, come on in and let's go through everything with a fine tooth comb. And I would say, you know, use a much higher chance of getting the green light, much higher chance. But it's all in my opinion, I think it's random. Who knows? Maybe it isn't. But so I'm like, I need a sign that I'm going to get a green light. And within, I would say, close to a minute, maybe 2 minutes at most, I am looking out my window, and everybody else has their window shutters closed, which again, kind of like I've always said this. It's kind of like sometimes there's something for just for you to see.
Mhm.
So I look out my window, and falling from the sky, I see this green. It looks like this is what I'm going to say. Okay,
Oh.
so I see this, and I don't want to say meteor because a meteor would be falling not at a. This was kind of like a free fall speed. It didn't seem
Yeah,
like it
it'd
was
be
falling
more of
really
an
fast.
angle probably like this.
Yeah, and this was falling, and this is not my picture though. Okay, this is me scouring the internet to find something that resembled what I saw. This is the
Okay.
closest thing I could see that I could find. It was a green a flare possibly, but we're like I don't know what commercial aircraft fly at. You know, we're like 30,000 feet up in the air,
I was
36,000
gonna
feet up in
say
the air.
something like that. I'll check for you real quick.
Perfect, perfect. So I see this thing falling, free falling, and like I said, I would assume a meteor. Like whenever you're watching the sky and you see a meteorite falling, it is like falling, like it is crashing to the earth. You know, it is plummeting. This was
31,000 to 42,000 feet. So
perfect.
unless you had a a fighter flying over you, which was very rare, I don't know if they would do that unless they had a reason, and then they drop a flare. That's very odd.
Yeah, and I'm not in U.S. territory. I'm in Mexico. I'm in Mexico then at this
Right.
time. So
How far from the plane was it?
That's a great question. I would say probably 400 to 500 feet out.
Relatively close.
Yeah, it was close enough that it was clear as day. I'm seeing this thing falling, and I would say it had a couple of these trailers. I don't know if you can see these trailers. It had a couple. It wasn't so much
Mhm.
as a stream, but there was a couple trailers coming from it. It was a light coming down out of the sky, a green light. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, well, it was an unidentified falling object, a UFO.
Mm.
I wouldn't call it flying, it was falling,
Oh,
whatever it
yeah.
was, but it was extremely weird, and so I looked into meteorites, and it's like, if it is a green color, it says it's from an iron ore, like, it comes from an iron ore, if I do recall. But again, all the meteorites that I've ever seen fall are like plummeting, like, with a mission down to the earth, whereas this was just, you know, gently falling from the sky.
Starlight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, well, definitely a sign of what occurred when you landed.
Yeah, yeah. So when I landed, of course, I go up, press the button, green light, and I pass on through without a care in the world.
Wow. That is absolutely phenomenal. You
Yeah.
were answered. That
I believe so. I
yeah.
totally, totally believe so. And so the interesting thing is this happened, I'm going to say somewhat near considered a magical area in Mexico. Okay. And this is going to take me to my next story. So, in this magical area of Mexico, there is a monolith. Okay. And there is the fifth largest monolith in the world, and it's called Pena de Bernal. Okay. And what this is just, it's like a mountain almost. That's what I want to say. It's a mountain, but it is considered a monolith. Now, I'm going to show you a couple pictures of it just so you know what I'm talking about. So we're not trying to figure out what I'm talking about when I have a clear as day picture. So this here is it. Okay. Um, it doesn't look that big, but it is huge. Okay, like the people. If I could zoom in, I don't know if there's any people on it. Oh yeah, you can see. I don't know if you can see right here. There's someone standing right up in here. Okay.
Where at? I'm not seeing any pointer. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
Oh
so
my god, how small.
yes, and right at the very top, like, so you can walk up to this platform. I mean, up to this plateau, and then you can climb up here. Now, I want to see if you can see. It's difficult to see this, but on Peña de Bernal, it's considered very magical. To the Mexicans and to the Aztecs, because Aztecs are more around this area, where Mayans are where I am. Do you see any animals on this? Like, there actually is a lot of animals in the rocks, within the rocks.
At the top, it almost looks like a bear or
Okay, yeah. So there is
reptile
something
or
at the top. So this is
yeah.
an elephant. So you got the trunk here, then you have the head, then you have a big ear. Here's the body of it, and then there's
Okay,
like legs in
okay.
here. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
see it for sure now.
yes, so there is these things there. Now, I took, I believe it was 5 pictures consecutively. Okay. And this was all
The
within, what's that?
on the
Sorry?
very far right, there's like a flat, almost like
This right here?
yeah, that's really cool. What is
Yeah.
that?
It's just how it is formed and how it is it's just smooth. It's just a smooth area. And like trying to climb up that is very difficult.
I'm sure.
It's like almost a sandstone, but it's almost polished in a way. Like, I don't want to say it's like
Yeah,
smooth, but it's difficult to try to climb up that. So you kind of walk in around and you zigzag in around, and then you get up to this point, and then you can climb up to this point up here, and that's usually like the highest point. And I went up there one time by myself during the week, and it was really cool to be up there by yourself. And it's a very, it's, you have a lot of solitude if you're up there. Now,
very cool.
okay, so I'm just gonna back out of this again here. See if I can pick Oh, I know why. This is in the way. Okay, so this is the first picture. I want to show you the second picture, okay? So this is the second picture. You don't see much difference at all between these pictures, right? So we see this one, then we see this one, then we see this one, right? Nothing has changed. And this is all within, I believe, when you look at the properties of the photos, it is approximately 48 seconds between all these pictures, okay?
Okay.
Now this one. Do you see something different?
Yes, it looks like there's some type of light, a ball of light at the top, at the midway point.
Oh, like I'm talking
Right
here
there,
though.
right there. Yeah, that's I see it.
Yes,
It's like a light or something.
yes, I have.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was standing out to me
Mhm.
immediately.
Now, like I said, these are 48 seconds apart, all these photos, and the next photo has nothing in it. Okay. So I have no idea what could it be. It definitely
Can
looks
you
like it's
zoom on that?
I I I don't know how clear it's gonna get, but let's
Now, is it possible, and I'm not saying I don't know what it is, it could be
mhm,
anything, but is it possible that could be some kind of fabric-y type of substance? Now, you see a few people
of
underneath
course.
it.
o-
Looks like
of
maybe there could be a fabric, like a
I
huge
agree. I
pipe
I
or
agree
something.
with you. Like almost like some sort of like balloon of sorts.
Yeah,
Like a.
yeah, you can see the bottom is open,
Mhm.
and then it
I
looks like it's
totally
blowing up,
agree.
and there's 1, 2, like 3 or 4 people underneath it.
Yes, but the size of this would
It's
be
huge.
immense. Now,
Yeah,
if we go back, we go back to here. There's nothing, right?
looks like
You
there's a door right in the middle. Do you see what that's flat?
tell me where to
So
go.
keep going to the left, keep
Hmm.
going to the left, keep going a little more, go up a little bit, right there. Doesn't that look like a door to you?
It kind of does,
You
definitely.
hear these stories of these rock faces having doors that are made of rock opening. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like that. That could be nothing.
This is considered a very magical place. Like people go here, especially on the solstices, and they climb up all dressed in white, like to purify themselves. This is
Mhm.
a very sacred site. Yeah. So this is just before. And then, we get to this, and there's
That
that.
just pops out. That's you don't see anything getting blown up. You don't see anything slowly raising. That's odd.
Yes. And then
Very odd.
this is back out again. This is the picture that comes after it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's always
It's
a
not there.
possibility there was something behind it, but
Hmm.
I mean, that's just really
Like,
large.
yeah, let's use the cloud for reference. Like there's a cloud there, it's there, it's there, it's there.
Man, that's big.
Whoops. Hang on, let's back out of that. Yeah. Exactly. And these are seconds apart, it's I have no idea what this is. And whoever's watching this, by all means, leave a comment. Tell me
Yeah.
what you think this is because we're spitballing here. And
Yeah,
like I keep saying, like this place is considered magical. And well, I think I caught something magical. What it is,
very
I don't know.
possibly. Yeah. Too bad we can't get any, like, more detail and close
Oh,
up. By the way, I
right?
love your choice of colors, as you can see, black and white. Black is my favorite color, and I wanna give a shout out to Joe Breezy, my ninja down there in Dallas,
Ah,
Fort Worth. He sent this and another shirt. He
cool.
worked at the gas station, which is famous for the Chainsaw Massacre. The original place in Chainsaw Massacre's original movie, they go to a gas station. That's the one Joe and his family own and work out. His wife Jen is the head barbecuer there, which is incredible supposedly.
I
And I'm
heard
gonna
that.
go have some of that at the conference if Josh has his conference. If he doesn't, I'm gonna go stay with Joe anyway. He invited me to hang out with him, and
Cool.
they have a store there and all kinds of stuff. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Joe
Of
for sure.
course, of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know I changed my background. I went with this background here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it fits everything. You know, when I kind of did my rebranding, this goes with it all.
You've
All
done
right.
an amazing job. The beginning of the beginning of the show with the video is top notch, phenomenal. So I'm a big fan.
I really, really appreciate that. It means a lot coming from you, Matt.
Thank you.
Um, all right, let's jump on to this next thing now. Now, that first story that I gave to you, I like to think it's like a slightly, maybe kind of like a manifestation, because I feel we all have the power to create, and that's when I say I think our greatest gift. And don't get me wrong, like I don't think love is a gift. I think love is something we have indefinitely, that we connect with people, and that is the most powerful thing in the world. But our most
Mhm.
powerful gift is imagination. Imagination is what we use to create. We, it comes from the heart, and we're able to manifest and create things. Like you look at, I think we talked about this, on Star Trek, when they, their imagination, they created these view screens where they're talking with other people, and they've created that. They created tablets,
Mhm.
on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yep.
They had tablets
Yep.
they walked around with, and look what we have. So,
Yep.
so this was my manifestation, and I got up in the morning and I said to myself, and I was really into, at this point in my life, I was really into collecting feathers, like powerful feathers. I really, I still am into shamanism, but I was really into shamanism at that time. And feathers are, about, you can use them to clean your auras, you can use them for cleaning, you can use them for smudging. And
You know about my experience at Beaver Creek,
I
correct?
do, I do.
And
And you
I'd
have
love
the,
you to take a look at it sometime. Eagle feather. Yeah.
For sure. I would love to. I would love to. I think that would be an honor. Um, and so I said to myself, I'm going to find the biggest feather I've ever found in my life. Okay. And today is the day that I'm going to find this. So, and I do know what this is. Okay. But it's all about interpretation, in my opinion. So when I walked out of the house, I looked up, okay? And when I looked up, I didn't, it wasn't this. Of course, I got to fast forward to what I saw. So this I was prepared, but okay, this is what I saw,
Oh
okay?
my god, it looks like a feather.
Okay, right? So I looked up and I'm like, oh shit, like I never specified what feather I was going to find. I never said, oh, I'm going to find an eagle feather. I said I'm going to find the largest feather I've ever found in my life.
That is
So
incredible.
yeah, and like I do know what this is. This is a chemtrail, right? But
Yeah, it looks like starting from one, but right. I mean, immediately, oh my god, that
like
looks like a feather.
yes, like you have the part here, like the stem of it, and then it's kind of like
Yeah.
the first feathers. Yes, it
Wow. I mean, my mind is blown right now. That is amazing. Can you
it
expand that?
yes, of course I can. Oh, yes,
That's
yes. I
perfect.
forgot that we're
I mean, you've got every anatomical part of a feather in that cloud.
yeah. I I totally agree. It's like we got there.
Wow.
Whoops. This one is. Let's see if I get a little bit. Let's see if I get a
That
little bit.
that blows my mind.
Let's zoom in. Yeah.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
god.
you have like the and please forgive me if I get the names of the feather wrong, but this is like the
Yeah, I'm
stem
gonna
part
do
of it,
that
and then
anatomy.
it comes up. Yeah, and it was there. It was there for me to see. When I came out, I was like, "What am I seeing?" And I'm like, "Wow!" Like so. Of course, we all have our cameras with us, our phones with us. So I have to take a picture, and this is
Okay, so, the bottom part, I'll show you. Here, let me visit it so that's not in the way, is the stem.
hmm
So here we go. I'll see if I can show you guys
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. I'm just gonna see if I can swap you. Oh no, as I'm trying to, I tried to swap you.
I'll send a copy of this to the group real
Yeah,
quick. I'll send it to
and and I'll
just
and I'll and
you.
I'll okay, and I'll pop it up. But yeah, it's clear as day is what that is, in my opinion. You asking for,
Okay.
and of course there's confirmation bias. Of course we have confirmation bias where it's like, like, oh, you only see it's what am I saying here? It's kind of like, yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this. Okay, I'm
All
gonna
right.
show this.
Now wait, hold on. There's also another anatomy here, so I'm gonna send that to you real
Okay,
quick too.
yeah,
The
like
second one I'm sending you is better.
okay, then I'll wait for that one. But people say, oh, it's your mind creating that. Not that your mind is creating, but you're only seeing that because that's what you've asked for, and you're just kind of relating to it. And I was
Oh,
like,
I disagree with that one.
yeah, that is too eerily similar to be that. Okay, hang on. I'm just going to download this picture, and okay, we got it. I got it, and I'm going to open it up. Going to our downloads, and nope, that's not it. That was from my interview earlier. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to share this here. So share screen, and away we go. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have so we have the shaft here, and the rest is called the vein, but the downy barbs. Yes, see these downy barbs. That is definitely what we're seeing. And then you can see the
Agreed.
after feather, and then the ratches and barb, and yeah. I definitely say that is, and I'm going to pull that back up here again.
I mean, I can't. It looks literally like that picture, like a real feather just in the cloud form.
Mhm.
I mean, that really looks like a real feather. Anyone that doesn't see that, I'm not trying to be insulting. You've got issues with your eyes.
I
That
agreed,
look,
agreed.
yeah, that's incredible. You see the hollow shaft, the calamus at the bottom. You
Mhm.
see those downy barbs at the
Right
bottom
here.
there, and it's separating the way it does in a real
Yep.
feather. And then you have the barb feather as you go up. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. You have the vein. I mean, it's the entire thing, and you can see the vein go through the entire.
Yeah,
Wow.
and what's interesting is, like, at the one end, of course, I'm sorry. At the one
Looks
end
like
here,
the downy
it's
barb.
solid. It's solid,
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
like the hollow shaft.
Yep. Yeah.
That's right. That is absolutely unbelievable.
Uh, I think so too. It's kind of I, I've had like manifestations or something, and I don't know how much time you have, Matt. But do you mind
I
if I go
don't
into
have
a story?
any. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm. Cool.
okay. So I'm going to discuss a manifestation that I had, and I might have talked about this before, but this manifestation was probably my ultimate one, and it's going in a book. Actually, I had someone who did a call out for manifestations, and I said, "Well, how about this one?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's going in." So when I was living in Calgary back in Canada, I had just moved there, and I was starting down my spiritual path, and I decided that I wanted to take Reiki. Okay, and this is my first level of Reiki, and my Reiki master was originally not originally, sorry, she was living in Costa Rica, and I'm like, and I don't know why I thought this. I'm like, I want to go to Costa Rica and visit her. I've never been to Costa Rica ever in my life. And at the time, I just was going through a divorce. I didn't have much money. I'm living in a small apartment by myself, just kind of making ends meet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to Costa Rica. And that night that I made that decision, I went out with some friends, and I'm going to kind of diverge off the story a little bit to tell you something else that was kind of interesting. So I went out with my friends, and my one friend was really, really drunk, and when I got there, I've kind of moved away from drinking, so he was really drunk, and I'm like, I'm going to take him home. So I took him home, came back, and we're hanging out with this other group of friends, and we're like, we should plan a trip. We should go somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, let's go to Costa Rica. And they're like, no, let's go to Mexico. And which is kind of funny as well, because that's where I'm living now. And I was like, no, I've been to Mexico a bunch of times. I don't want to go there. I want to go to Costa Rica. And they're like, no. And this is what I said then. I said, I'm going to Costa Rica. So I made this confirmation. Okay. By that time, I had 1 or 2 beers only, because like I said, I don't really drink much anymore.
Either.
And yeah, and we get the bill, and this is the side story on this one. We get this bill, and I look at it, and my friend, who was extremely drunk, had been drinking there for quite a while, and we got stuck with his bill because he didn't leave us any money or anything. Okay, and I'm like, I only brought $20, and everybody's like, yeah, well, let's kick in some money to cover this. And I'm like, I only got $20. That's not enough. That'll easily cover my drinks and a tip. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try something. So there's something called the reflex test, or the muscle test. And what it is you interlock your 2 fingers like this. Okay. So your finger and your thumb like this, and your other finger and thumb like this, and you interlock them. Now you ask a question. Okay. And if it breaks, it means that it's not true. Okay. So I went up. So in Canada, we have VLTs, which are like slot machines. Okay. You can have them in the bars. I'm not sure if it's in the United States or if it's only in casinos they have that. But we had some.
They
And
have
again,
some bars. They have some bars.
Okay. And I don't gamble. I don't gamble at all. So, but I'm like, I'm going to try this. So I walk up to these machines and I'm like, are you going to pay out money? And it's like, no. I walk up to the next one. No. This one? Yes. Like, it wouldn't come apart. My hands wouldn't come apart. I'm like, okay. So I put in my $20, and after 3 spins, I'm up to $80. Just like that.
Whoa.
Yep. And I'm like, and I'm not being greedy, because I don't, I only need what I need. Right. So I cash out. I put $60. I put $60 on the table, and I'm like, here, I'm covering my drinks, and I'm paying, for his as well. Like, for not all of his, but for part of his as well. And I kept
You're
my
a good
20.
dude, man.
Yeah, it was, but
Was
so
he
that was.
still there when you
Oh
did?
no. I drove him home. I had to drive him home because he was blitzed.
So drunk, and you didn't even think to say, "Hey, man, did you leave money?"
No, of
Did
course
he
not.
ever pay you back?
No, and I never asked, because I was like, I got this. That was kind of like the thing.
Took care of it.
Yeah, exactly. So back to the story. I left it at that. So I was like, yep, I'm going to go to Costa Rica. I don't know how. Now, 2 weeks almost to the day. I'm at a sweat lodge, and one of my good friends, she is going away to North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the things. She's going for a while, and I will admit, I was slightly jealous, because I'm like, I want to go somewhere. Like, I love traveling. I'm like, oh, I wanted to go somewhere, but I'm like, no, this is her farewell lodge we're doing. It's through. It was like a Métis medicine woman, the medicine woman that I talk about all the time, Joanne Bean, Sleeping Buffalo woman. She's running this lodge, and we finished the lodge, and it was fantastic. And I get out of my truck. I mean, sorry. I get out of the lodge, and I go to my truck where my cell phone is, and I open up my cell phone, and I have a new email. And guess what the subject line says?
Costa Rica.
100%. It says Costa Rica. And I'm like, what? It is from, because I used to own a plumbing business couple years before I moved to Calgary, and I had closed it down, and it had been closed for a couple of years. But one of my ex-clients, and I didn't know this, moved to Costa Rica. They messaged me and said, hey, I'm not sure if you're open to this, but would you be interested in coming down to Costa Rica, doing our plumbing in our house for free? Okay. But we'll pay for all the material, your flights, your food, your accommodation, everything. So there'll be no expenses that you'll have to do. You just have to do the labor.
What? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course. My mind was blown. I was like, what? 2 weeks prior, I had asked to go to. I said I'm going to Costa Rica, and there we go. And so I wonder at times if manifestation is real, or are we tapping into the future and subconsciously tapping into the future and being able to read the future, and that's where it comes to us in that sense. I don't know. You know, either way, I think it's all magical nonetheless. But I ended up going to Costa Rica 2 times, all expenses paid, and it was a fantastic vacation, fantastic time.
That is absolutely incredible. I think my personal opinion. Now, obviously, I have strong views on things because of my NDE and
Of course.
other things that have occurred, us getting our daughter home and her adoption. And I have, and my wife have zero belief in coincidence. We
Hmm.
do not believe in it because we had so many things happen, like specifically with my daughter's adoption, to get her home. There was like 25 to 30 different things that happened that had to happen for her to come home, and this is and that's and blah blah. There's no way coincidence could have fallen. One or two, three, maybe four at the most, 30 things. And then on top of it, she was the only child for 5 years to come home with her adopted family. Yeah.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna write a book soon. I'm gonna start writing a book. It doesn't have just the dog man experience. It has everything from beginning till end. I believe some of it, and you and I have very strong connections with our dreams and our minds.
Hmm.
You and I specifically have talked about this.
We
I
have.
have had, and my wife Stacy, who is a huge skeptic, will tell you this, that she has never met anyone who has premonition abilities like I do. I have premonition feelings and abilities, and you're the second strongest person. In fact, you might be stronger than I am after these
Mm.
stories. I put you and me in a league above just about anybody. And it's funny, they always say people of the like are drawn to each other.
Ah,
And I think there's a combination there, Rye. I think there's premonition, there's future tapping, if you will, you want to call it that. And then I believe 150% that we have guardian angels, that we have those that look out for us, and they
100%.
have the ability to make things happen for us. So I think there's combination.
I totally believe so